so much for coming along to VegFest, and especially our new part of our show, Easy Veganism. How fantastic. So who here is already vegan anyway? Let's have a little show of hands. Okay. Oh, you managed to lift up those arms, you know, wimpy vegans. Who here is pre-vegan? So maybe thinking about it, curious. Yay! Let's clap for this lady. I love her energy. Well, I'm Karen Ridgers. I run Veggie Vision TV, so for my humble attempts of spreading a positive vegan message to the media, and very much love and adore working with Mr. B, who is VegFest UK. This is Mr. Tim Barford. Let's just clap again. And he hates me doing that. He really hates me doing that. So I'm Karen Ridgers, and part of my work is actually I coach journalists and celebrities to be vegan. And it's really fantastic because, you know, speaking to a lot of these journalists, they just want to do a good story. You know, they don't actually have any interest whatsoever in being vegan. And then we have a chat, and then I give them some coaching, and we go through what they eat. And this is all part of my work with VegFest. And they absolutely love it, and it completely changes their lives. And then they have a great article, and they spread the message to all of their readers. And it's just absolutely fantastic. So VegFest is actually a hell of a lot more than even just what we do today, isn't it? It's just fantastic. So Easy Veganism is something we thought we'd try out this year. We're very excited. We've got some really cool people for you to speak with. And this is really designed to maybe inspire you to take that next step, or it might give you some ideas, some confidence, reinforce what you already know. And even though I've been vegan for about 20 years, I get to hear from these really cool people. So I get to learn about veganism all the time, because every day there's something new. It's a really fantastic lifestyle. So if you are here and you are pre-vegan, you are not quite yet there, today might be the most important day of your life. There is no bigger and better decision, there's nothing more important than that decision to go vegan, because it changes your health. It's better for the planet, and it is better for animals. There's nothing that comes close. I'm a bit passionate about it, as you can hear. But anyway, let's introduce you to everybody. I'm going to start with our gorgeous sofa of love, our relaxed sofa. Hopefully our experts will be raring to go and talk to us about our first question, which we're going to come to. And then I better flick through the slides as well. Gosh, so much to do. First of all, we've got Dave Arnold sitting at the end. He's one of the main people of Vegan Runners. He's been vegan since about 1989, did you say? Very passionate vegan, really cool guy. Just had a baby. I've met the baby as well, haven't you? Lovely guy. But we'll just move on. Just a couple of quick introductions. We have Hench Herbivore here. Look at this fit guy. Watched his YouTube videos. From bouncer to vegan advocate, I read. And I also saw that you inspired Mr. Universe to become vegan. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, just a Mr. Universe.
Just Mr. Universe, like you do. And then our expert, we are so pleased to have this lovely lady here. We will say that Yvonne Bishop Weston really sadly is probably still in hospital, I think. We're gutted because she's a main part of VegFest. She's an absolute expert nutritionalist based in Harley Street, main part of VegFest, but she's very, very poorly, and so she can't be here. However, we have the lovely Iona Copin, hopefully I've said that right, Copin, who is a student dietitian, passionate vegan, really changed her life. You need to study for about 3 years, so she's coming to the end of 2 years. She really does know her stuff, and you know, we're just delighted to have her here. So thank you, everybody, for coming along. And then obviously Mr. B and I are just going to be chatting, asking these cool people some questions. Anything you want to add, Mr. B?
Yeah, just want to say thank you, first of all, Karen Ridgers. Big round of applause for Karen. She doesn't like me doing that either, but she is brilliant, and we're very happy. Karen's been a massive part of VegFest for a long time. You can tell she's very good on the microphone, and the only thing we disagree about is who should have the mic. She keeps trying to take it off me. But we're absolutely thrilled, and thank you for our guests to coming. And obviously all our tech team and support, our sign language interpreter today, and obviously all the VegFest whole thing that's helped facilitate this. I just want to say one thing very briefly, but we've called this room the Easy Veganism Room because we want to make, you know, the answers to your questions easy. We want to try and make this easy. I know people sometimes find veganism quite challenging. They're not quite sure where to start. They may be perhaps reluctant to ask some straightforward questions. That's what this room is about, is easy veganism. For many of us, it is really easy to go vegan. We're in the heart of Brighton here, is sort of, you know, probably about the easiest place in the world, literally, to go vegan. So we're really, really lucky. What I do just want to say, and I'm only going to say this once for this talk and not every single talk, but it is on film. I just want to say that although we're lucky enough here to be in a place where we have access to food, water, to healthcare, to education, a massive amount of privilege that we enjoy, for most of us, it is fairly easy to go vegan, but let's not forget that over half the world is on less than $2.50 a day. There's a lot of people all over the world for whom veganism is never going to be easy. It's up to us in developed countries and people in a position of privilege to try and ensure that veganism does become easier and easier. But what we don't want to do is disrespect the people who are vegan and find it really challenging to stay that way, perhaps because of their circumstances or other things that get in the way in life that make things, what for some of us are really easy, really challenging for others. But on that note, I think most of us here will find that going vegan is pretty easy. It's pretty easy to stay that way, isn't it? Would we agree? Yeah. It takes a bit of transition sometimes, but that's what Karen and our team are here to do, is try to help facilitate that, ease that. And with that, Karen, here you go. The mic is yours.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so look, we're just going to go through some slides. And I am not going to read them out because I am quite sure that everybody here is very capable. But this question of our topic today is that question. Who has been asked that question? Where do you get your protein? And, you know, nobody ever asks you until you decide to not eat animal flesh. Where do you get that? Where do you get your protein? So we've got some bits there. And also, you know, hopefully we're going to cover a few other bits and pieces. This isn't the be-all and end-all. This is your easy first steps. And there's lots of other ways to find out more information. And these guys are going to be available as well afterwards because there's only so much time that we have. But I just wanted to say that this is fun, hopefully inspiring, hopefully educational, and really respectful. So if we do have time for questions, then we just keep it fun, positive, uplifting. We're at a festival and very respectful as well. So where do you get your proteins? I didn't do this. So yeah, what do you eat? Yeah. Okay, so where do you get your protein from? Well, he looks a bit feeble. So, you know, are you eating second-hand protein? And, you know, this is what we might cover. Where do you get your protein? So is it even an issue? If you want to have a quick read of that one. Some people say, you know, really, this isn't an issue. We really need to be working out how to eat more fruits and vegetables in our diet. And if you want to have a quick look at that, it's not even an issue, is it? There's nothing that actually would say about not eating enough protein. So an adult, it's got there 45 to 55 grams a day. I think that's probably the equivalent of like a block of tofu, isn't it? Off the top of my head. It's not impossible.
Tofu, mushroom, curry,
yeah. Yeah.
It's got a 43 grams.
And that's just in one meal without your breakfast. And I mean, I like to start the day with a lovely protein shake, you know, because I think it keeps me fuller for longer. Lovely hemp seeds. And that's another great way to get some protein in. So gorgeous people sitting on the sofa, share that microphone. Share it with love. Where do we get our protein from? Iona, is this a question that you are asked a lot of?
Is it on? Yeah. Yeah, so when you go vegan, people do tend to want to know that automatically. That is the first thing they ask you. And as vegans, I think healthcare professionals, they worry about us. We're sort of an at-risk population group.
Why do you think that is? Why are we at risk?
I think people don't really understand. They think that all you're doing is you're cutting out the meat protein, you're cutting out all the animal products, and that you're not replacing it with anything.
Yeah.
But I think we're all smart people. Like, we made the decision to go vegan, so we've got to be pretty smart, right? And we replaced the animal products with other things. We eat our beans, we eat our soy products, we eat things that are fortified with other things. So we get our protein from everywhere, and I think people don't really understand that protein's in everything. Like, you can get your protein from bread. It's not the most bioavailable, but it's in there. So yeah, protein's in everything. So.
Do you think we need to be thinking about eating protein with every meal?
It doesn't need to be in every meal. I mean, one of the things they say is you need to get all your essential proteins, and they did used to think that you needed to get them in every single meal. So some foods don't have all of your essential amino acids, so those are like the building blocks of your proteins. But if you're eating beans on toast, you're going to be getting all your amino acids in there. Not recommending to just eat that, but that's how easy it is to get all of your proteins.
What are your top foods? And obviously we're talking about protein first of all. Yeah. What are your top vegan protein foods?
So beans, definitely. Get your beans, your pulses are so easy. You can put them in anything.
Do you think beans like in a tin is good enough?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Like, it's easy, it's convenient. That's probably the easiest way to get them. So why not? Definitely.
What else would you recommend then? Anything off the top of your head? Quinoa?
Yeah, quinoa.
I call it quinoa, but that's because I'm from Essex.
Yeah, no.
Quinoa,
so
but
quinoa.
that I'm posh. But I think it's quinoa.
Quinoa, yeah. So your nuts, your seeds, your grains, it's in vegetables. I think if you were going to eat a purely fruit diet, then you'd be worrying about your protein. But if you're eating a varied diet, you got yourself covered.
Okay. Yeah, please, share that mic. Shall I share this mic
I may not
with
even
you?
need it. No, I've often found that answering a question with a question is the best solution. And, you know, when someone's asking you where you get your protein from, you just ask them, well, where did that animal that you're eating get its protein from? You know, and there's your answer. You know, it just ate green stuff coming out of the grass, and I'm eating exactly the same thing. It just hasn't passed through somebody else's digestive system. So, and with that, then they start thinking, oh, yeah, that's the point, you know. So there you go.
You know, I always say that meat is actual muscle tissue. Meat is muscle. Meat is made out of plants. So I don't understand really what people are not getting. It's a bit like eating mud and saying, I need water, so I'm going to eat this mud. We don't need all the negatives that come with it. There's saturates, the trans fats, the cholesterol, which is what's killing us. Deficiencies are not killing us. Excesses are killing us. And it's all from animals.
Now, you were a big meat eater before you went vegan, wasn't you? And then it was a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
How did you feel, obviously, as a personal trainer, you know, a sports person, you know, whatever you want to say, fitness expert? Did you go from meat to vegan, or did you go veggie, vegan?
I went 98% vegan straight off the bat. And then bearing in mind, I was eating 10
What
kilos.
was the 2%? What would that have been? I just had to have a bit of honey. What was that 2%?
So twice a week I'd eat organic beef. 3 times a week I ate salmon because I wasn't educated and I didn't know historically. Yes, we have eaten animals, which I've since found out is the last 10% of human history, like the Paleo era. Miocene era, we didn't have tools, we didn't have fire, we didn't have claws, we still don't have fangs, despite what we might call them. It's all lies, it's all misinformation.
So, okay, so you're 98%, then you went vegan. But as somebody, you know, not just like me staring at my bloody computer all day, obviously you're very physical and active. How did you feel when you stopped eating that organic beef and the salmon, you know, that? How did you feel? Did you feel really wimpy and tired? Did your muscles start to shrink?
I felt amazing. I just never felt so well. More energy, less sleep required, less pain, like quicker recovery from training, which is what athletes are now finding. And in June this year, when the Game Changers film comes out, James Cameron, they've been all over the world filming all the top athletes, world-leading scientists. There's even special ops soldiers that they feed a vegan diet to, because not only is it viable for an athlete, it is optimal.
Why do you think that is, and why is it this best kept bloody secret then? If we all feel fantastic, and especially people that are, you're the top of your game. You're not sitting there like I am, on the phone converting journalists. You're out there working out.
Yeah. Until now, only the top, the powers that be, the powers that run the world, big agriculture, the pharmaceutical giants, they're the only people who had a voice. But now we've got the internet, and now we've all got a voice. And now the truth's coming out, and they can't stop us.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so let's go back to Iona again. Have we covered protein enough, do you think, guys? Is there anything else that you want to ask about protein? Because otherwise we can speak about the other nutrients.
I just wanted to ask, actually, our guest here, do you think you can have too much protein? Is there a danger of consuming too much protein?
I'm not sure that there's a danger. I mean, looking at the evidence, there's suggestions of that. I think vegans, the studies show that vegans get enough protein and omnivores get sort of more than enough. So, yeah, I don't think we need to be worrying.
Is there health implications, though, for instance, as a bodybuilder, it could be easy to start consuming, literally hundreds of grams of protein, like pea isolate and stuff. Is that, would you advise that, or would you say that could be detrimental?
No, I'd say, even the study that said the most, when people are really cutting 2 grams per kilo of lean body weight of protein is more than enough. The thing is, when we put something in our mouth, it's a chance to really boost our health or not. And why would you put in a processed food which is devoid of nutrients? And why would I put it in animal foods when I can put in vegetables which have 16 times the nutrient of animal products? People say, nutrient deficient. I'm saying they're nutrient deficient, there was a study done, 3,100 products all around the world. There were 16 teams of scientists, researchers, and they looked at all the top antioxidant foods in the world. And antioxidants decide really probably how long we're going to live. Oxidative stress on our mitochondria is what eventually kills most people. Or we get diseases, antioxidants fight that, and on average, plant foods have 64 times the antioxidants of animal foods. So why would I put anything else in my body?
Dave, anything to add to that?
No, I'm picking up a bit on what you're saying about why do we not know all this information. And I guess it's the conspiracy in me that there isn't so much money to be made in growing plants and selling plants. It's all about the money, isn't it? The wealthy landowners grow into the animals and sell it there. So that's why myths, I believe, are just perpetrated about you need meat for protein, you need milk for calcium and that. No, you don't. They're not going to tell you the truth because there's not money and profit to be made in telling you the truth on it. So, but that's the conspiracy.
We could go right down the rabbit hole, couldn't we, with these conspiracy theories?
Yeah. Not in pursuit of the rabbit, just in pursuit of the truth.
Does the planet want people to be healthy or not? It's how far down do we go? Are there too many people on the planet and the bigger agenda is to make everybody sick? Who knows? I'm just,
Oh, but don't worry, because then you've got the pharmaceutical industry
people
who can cure you of all those ills,
You can just take a tablet, of course.
That's it, yeah.
Where do you get your protein from, Dave, mainly?
I've never really had to consider it. I've just a well-balanced range diet. And I turned vegan before I'd gotten into doing sport. And it was almost one of those light bulb moments that you were saying earlier on. I knew a friend or a close friend and their family and I hung up with them a little bit, and so we'd eat a bit of soya or whatever. Then we went to a show in London, the World Animal Day March, and I was just shocked. This is awful. How can I consider myself a good person if I'm involved in any of this? And it troubled me. And I was driving home, I'm thinking, I'm going to go vegetarian. And when I got home, I just threw a few bits of meat out of the fridge. And while I was there, it was like a yogurt and half a pint of milk. You know what? I slung that out and give it a go. And I just went just like that. And I got into hunt sabbing as well through that. And I guess that gave me a bit of base fitness. And then I ended up taking up to triathlon and sport there, and I got to be pretty good at it. But all through that time, no one was really questioning where'd you get your protein, because you didn't have a shirt with vegan runners written on it. And particularly if you beat someone, they never tend to sort of question, anything like that, because they don't want to know the answer, because they don't want their own beliefs to be challenged. That's it, So that's often it, isn't it? You find that people are asking you questions in a way to defend their own position. They're not asking genuinely. But what has happened since now we've got the advent of vegan runners and we are populating the country like wildfire. Can I go on a slight tangent? It was just over a year ago. Well, Tim's played a big part in it because we've been at so many VegFests. About 15 months ago, we'd risen from 300 to nearly 600 members nationally. Now we're just about to hit 1,500 members, to be the largest club in the country.
Round of applause time, guys. Come on. Thanks, that's fantastic.
But the real positive thing about it is that you see vegans out with the kit on. I mean, there were 20 of us this morning on Hove Prom taking part in the run down there. One of the vegan runners won it. Now, there's no one in there going to say, where do you get your protein from? Go and ask the guy who won. The guy that no one else could catch. Go and ask him. Ask him how deficient he is. Ask all the other runners all the way through. We're not all out and out top athletes. Vegan runners come as in all shapes and sizes, from fast to slow and right through the range. But we're out in so many races that people are noticing. We had recently a big meet-up at Stockport in Manchester. There were 74 vegans in that race, all in the kit. Come November, there's going to be over 100 in the Brighton 10K. And people are stopping to see it. And it's as though we're just evidence on two legs. And through running, particularly likes of park runs where they're quite short runs and anyone tends to pile into a cafe afterwards, you end up very easily in conversation with people questioning a little bit, but it's in a genuine way, and you've got something in common with them because you've just shared the last 5 kilometres of your life with them, and the only thing that's different perhaps is that you're vegan, they're not, so there's a bit of an interest there, and we're a really passive way and powerful way of promoting veganism, and no end of people have come along. I mean, we've had a lot of people from park runs come along to VegFest now because they've seen us there. We've had our outreach stalls there, and so we're coming from an angle not necessarily like banging the drum of how bad you are for eating meat, but look, we're all healthy and fit, and we're doing exactly what you're doing. You could be doing it too,
Yeah, that's fantastic, brilliant.
So,
and to see you're growing, and it's linking in with VegFest. It's all amazing, really inspirational.
I mean, no end of people, and what we're finding more and more is people are coming to join us now, having seen us in races, and I think that's where we've got this exponential growth. Someone goes along and does a race, and they're running up and down, or they might just be watching. Oh, there goes a vegan runner. Oh, there might just be a vegan runner, and then another, and another. They start realising it's a big club. That it's huge. And that's just the UK. So
well, let's just go back again. Because we've really focused on the protein, but we've got calcium, iron, zinc, B12, which is obviously another biggie. I mean, I kind of think, if you have a very varied vegan diet, plant-based diet, eat a rainbow, I kind of feel that does the job. But obviously that's just me, 20 years of being vegan and, just sort of doing what I feel is right. I went vegan before there was an internet. I used to have to go to the library. I was excited when I saw one veggie magazine in wherever it was, W.H. Smith's, and now we've got tons of stuff everywhere. But do you guys kind of feel the same? Eat a vegan rainbow. Do you think that we need supplements, just kind of in a nutshell? I'm not against them. I think, I just don't feel the planet is as good as what it was years ago, and I don't feel the food is nutritionally as good as what it was years ago. So I like to think that I can top up, but I do feel that a vegan diet, well, I say a vegan lifestyle and a plant-based diet, but you know what I mean. I feel that is good enough if we eat, a super different range. Because, there's so much food to eat, isn't there? What do you think? Is it good enough? Does it cover everything?
I think the only nutrient that we should really be concerned about is sort of your B12s, because B12 comes from dirt, basically, and you get that in your meat because the animal is eating dirt along with the rest of its food, and you get that as a byproduct. But a lot of animals are now being fed B12 supplements. So instead of giving the animals the B12 supplements and then eating the meat, just take the supplements yourself.
Is there a supplement you feel is quite good? Actually, I've been sent one because I get the absolute pleasure of being sent loads of vegan goodies to try, and I'm so excited. And there's one that I might even sell it, to be honest. I've never done that before, but it's a B12 spray, so it just goes straight in. And I found that really interesting because I just worry sometimes if you're taking a tablet, does it get all broken down? But this B12 spray, I was kind of impressed. Do you think there's some supplements that are better than others? Maybe a quick passing along, share the love of the microphone.
So I don't know about particular brands, but I know some people get injections. Obviously, if you're not someone who wants to take a supplement all the time, then you can take like monthly injections or something like that. But there are foods that have B12 in them. Marmite, I love Marmite, luckily, and nutritional yeast. I know that's a vegan favourite. So I use that on loads of things. So I don't actually take a supplement. I just try and
it's in a lot of soya milk as well, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of things are fortified with it.
Yeah.
So,
how much B12 do you need a day? Do you know off the top of your head?
I'm not off the top of my head.
Do anyone know? You guys know?
Yeah,
it's tiny little,
very small,
tiny little, insignificant. Yeah. We'll find up and we'll put it on the social media. Yeah. Can't think of everything off the top of my head.
No,
gosh.
But I think if you're not taking a supplement, I think they say you should have like sort of three servings of food with the B12 in it throughout the day, and that you should be okay with that.
Okay, guys, do you want to add anything?
What was the question?
I don't know. Anyone awake?
Supplements.
Anyone know? So yeah, just generally,
yeah,
you know.
D3, if we're not getting a lot of strong sun all the time, D3. Omnivores get around 130 IUs a day from their diet, and most of their sort of authorities now say 2,000 IUs, so they're going to be woefully deficient. 3/5 of Americans are B12 deficient, so it's not a vegan. There's not that many vegans, is there? When you heat B12, you destroy it. So they're giving it to the cattle, but then it's destroyed in the cooking anyway. So really, a lot of people would benefit from a supplement.
I heard that cows were being injected with B12.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is true, but I heard that cows are being injected with B12, especially so when people eat them, they get B12. I just think it's weird.
Yeah.
Weird to me.
Yeah. One other thing might be a benefit to people. I mean, we should get enough omega-3 from eating a decent amount of chia and flax seeds on the daily, but some people have trouble converting the short chain into the long chain DHA. So an EPA DHA tablet, 250 milligrams to 500 a day, is like an optional but sort of recommended. It's cheap enough. It's not causing you any harm. You know. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I just take some B12 drops. You drop them under the tongue. And they have 10 seconds and that's it. And everything else, I try to have a lot more raw food now. So a lot of sprouted things, high in protein and various things. I haven't had the life cooked out of them. And same thing applies, doesn't it? Would you want nutrients that have been passed through somebody else's system? No, thanks.
I'd just add that, from my experience, it's the important thing is to have a whole food vegan diet. Yeah. So if you're eating a lot of processed foods, like with sugars in them, with cooked fats and denatured food that's been highly processed. And of course there is quite a lot of vegan food out there that is quite processed and quite high in salt, sugar, saturated fats or cooked fats. So I think part of the trick of making sure you absorb your nutrients well is to try and make sure you've got a clean system. And when you've got a clean system that's basically fed on whole food plant, whole foods, then your body learns to metabolize and absorb these nutrients better, and they don't just go through you because you've got a dirty system. You've got a clean, live system. And of course, things like juices, the green juices are incredibly potent. I am now. I mean, a year ago, I would not go near a green juice. Now I have them on a daily basis. And I find as perhaps not the supplements, but when you're looking at superfoods, so things like chlorella has a very high B12 content. Your wheat grasses, barley grasses. Obviously, when we think of horses and gorillas eat mainly grass, or certainly horses live off grass, and there's a lot of nutrients in grasses. So, and then things like hemp protein, maca powder. There's some really good sort of superfoods. I wouldn't suggest you live off them or replace a whole food diet with them, but in terms of topping up, and certainly if you get into perhaps a few weeks of optimum nutrition, perhaps training, and focus on not eating any rubbish, not having cooked fats, saturated fats, processed sugar, salt. But a whole food diet, lots of greens and lots of superfoods, kind of seems to raise up that level, and then you seem to hit you feel like you've got all your nutrients on board. So, yeah.
When you feel that well, you don't want to go back. You don't want to eat some junk because it just makes you feel so low. Like, why would you do that to yourself? I challenge anyone, 3 weeks, whole foods diet, legumes, grains, fruit, veg, nuts, seeds, herbs, spices. Just give it 3 weeks. I'll guarantee you'll probably reverse some illnesses. You have energy coming out the wazoo, and you won't want to eat junk and feel rubbish.
Yeah. Should we have some quick questions? Does anyone have a burning question? Oh, she's ready. Okay, we're just going to shout and then I will repeat for the camera. Oh, you want to run around? You need some exercise.
I missed one thing, and that's the... Oh, sorry. I missed the seaweed. Seaweed's really like a big thing in omega-3, and in Holland we use it a lot lately. Thank God, in the vegan world. So it's like small, but we're getting bigger.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, so great. Love seaweed. I gave seaweed to my son. Callum is out there with Team Vegan. And I thought, oh my God, you know, he's a kid. He don't want to eat. He loved it. He loves seaweed. What a strange kid. Just 10. Right, you put your hand up first. I'm going to ask you. He's going to run over.
Okay, so I'm thinking about becoming a vegan, but one of my concerns is around soya products and soya milks, as in a lot of the information I've read is that they're kind of genetically modified, and actually for a female as well, they affect your hormones. Well, I drink a lot of almond milk anyway, but obviously you guys are talking a lot about soya products, so I just kind of wanted to understand, especially maybe from a nutritionist point of view and a female point of view, if you found it's affected you at all.
So I've not found that it's affected me personally. I think the studies sort of are a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other. But I think when you're looking at like dairy products, there's so many hormones that go into them. I think like it's probably not that different to switch to then a soy, which has hormones sort of stuff in it as well. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Maybe do a little bit more research into it. Yeah.
So. Phytoestrogen is such a weak mimic of mammalian estrogen. If it was a concern, I feel that all the body will just smash in loads of dairy, meats and things which will have actual estrogen in. You know, this is going to sound a little crude, I'll try and say it in a quite nice way. I've yet to see a vegan male bodybuilder with boobs.
And you do see them, you do see guys, and especially I find it heartbreaking when you see some teenage boys that need to wear a bra. What the hell is that all about? They ain't drinking soya milk. Sorry, don't need a
My understanding is that the phytoestrogens dock with the receptor sites. I know actual estrogen can't dock. So actually some people are using that as anti-estrogen, like a way to lower the effects on the body by putting in, and you know, high estrogen is indicated with cancers. The people who have the most soy have the least cancer. It's all out there.
If I could just add, I've been vegan 33 years. I don't eat soya at all. I never have. I really don't like soya at all. I don't get on with it. Seeds and nuts, especially hemp seed, chia seed, flaxseed. You know, soya, I don't know. I've never got on with it myself. So.
While we're going to the next person, just really quickly, I've had soya for about 20 years. Sometimes I feel a bit bloated with it. And I just think, like anything, in moderation. So, you know, one day I sort of thought I had a big fry up and I thought, I've got soya on my toast, I've got vegan bacon, I've got scrambled tofu, I've got soya in my tea. And I thought, you know, a little bit overload. So I think, like anything, maybe just in moderation. Don't just focus on that one thing, but then listen to your body as well.
You could also look at making your own milks as well.
Yeah, definitely,
That's quite fun. It's very easy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, making your own. I think Sainsbury's has got 27 dairy alternative milks. I mean, some are soya, but there's so many others now. I mean, you could rice milk, quinoa milk, all those nuts milks. You know, there's plenty of them. So.
I'm just wondering, just following up from that, everything I've read about soy being genetically modified is American literature. Do we know if British soy, if we have such a thing, I don't know, is it modified?
Yeah, as far as I know, everything I've read about genetically modified does really focus on America, which is absolutely huge. And I don't think we have it so bad over here in the UK. I'm very much for organic and living, whole foods and natural. But again, you've got to do your own research, really. And I can see millions and millions of hands going up, but we've got the next people lining up to come in. So, Mr. B, you make the decision.
One more question. Yeah, that's a good point. The lady pointed out that GM soya is fed to animals. Indeed, 97% of the world's soya crop are fed to animals.
No, I just wanted to say that all organic soy is not non-GM.
No.
And quite often in the UK, regular soy is non-GM and it will be labelled. So it will be clearly labelled. And all the latest thinking on soy is that it's good for you, apart from if you have an intolerance, which some people do, but that it's good for you in all respects and there's no link. That's old information, that link between.
Brilliant. Guys, don't you think we probably need 3 hours? Yeah. If you could bear listening to me. I think we're out of time. Maybe we'll speak. Before you go, don't rush off. Look at our gorgeous guests. Aren't we so lucky to have them here?